My name is Sandy Berry. I am a member of the National Resource Development Committee and post on grantlessons.wordpress.com on a weekly basis. In completing the Impact section on a GuideStar Record Part 3, you will learn about how to complete the Impact section in your chapter's GuideStar profile. Let's get started. More than ever before, donors are asking for information about the impact nonprofits are making. In 3 to 5 sentences, summarize the way in which your chapter's programs have been effective in fulfilling your organization's goals. You can start out this section by stating the number of philanthropic programs your chapter facilitates. Then make simple statements about each of your programs. Let's look at our mythical chapter, Assistance League of Anywhere USA. They facilitate 3 philanthropic programs. The summary captures the name of the program, what they did, and for how many individuals served. You can see from the slide how to write this up. Simply pause the video when you desire if you would like to review. In other words, you now have a template to complete your own information. I find that it is easier to type my draft into a Word document and then cut and paste into the record box. Be sure to save and continue prior to moving on to the next link, which is Goals. You have a total of 3,000 characters, including spaces, for all the answers. Next, we move to the Goals subsection and also pull out your strategic planning document. Notice the blue question mark. Hover over the question mark and a help box comes up with more information. A chapter's strategic plan has goals. You can insert the goals from the strategic plan here. Goals are a broad statement of what the chapter intends to do over the next 3 to 5 years. You can see an example for the strategic plan for Assistance League of Anywhere USA. Again, you can pause the video if you'd like to look at the detail. In the next subsection, we report what strategies are being used to accomplish each goal. Make the statements very short and concise using bullet points. Let's take goal number 3 for Assistance League of Anywhere USA, which is to improve the resource development capacities by focusing on several fundraising opportunities. The strategies are the broad approaches your chapter intends to use. Again, you have a blue question mark to help you. For the purposes that you are using this information, it is not necessary to go into every specific detail that you will do. Brevity is important to those who are reviewing this information. Capabilities is next in completing the impact section for your chapter's GuideStar record. Funders want to know if the funding they are providing is being used wisely. The answer focuses on 4 elements: internal resources, external strengths, capacities, and connections. Again, look at the blue question mark for assistance and do not get overwhelmed. You can simply answer your question by focusing on the 4 elements. Again, internal resources, external strengths, capacities, and connections. Provide a sentence or 2 for each element. Write in a Word document and then again cut and paste. I'm going to focus for a minute on each element. Okay, this is a powerful slide since we have so many internal strengths and why we enjoy volunteering at our Assistance League chapter. Look at some of our internal resources. The number of member volunteers. The fact that generally there's no paid staff. The number of service hours in our last fiscal year and the value. Our solid orientation program and the skill level of our volunteers. Start out by typing internal resources and then you can write the following, which is on the slide. You can follow the same format or change anything to make it appropriate for your individual chapter. Next, we need to provide information on our external strengths. First, we want to identify a couple of our major partnerships. State how you work with your partners. For instance, it could be your local school district who works with you on 3 of your programs. Be sure to acknowledge your reputation with the local community. Be sure you state your overall population served. Remember to save your work after entering your data. Okay, are you looking for some suggested words to start you out? Again, you can pause the video if you want to study the suggested language. It is important to write what is important about your external strengths and remember to save after you enter. Next, the focus of the subsection goes to our chapter's capacities. Of course, this will differ for each chapter. In this subsection, you are identifying any major changes you anticipate and exploring how the change will impact on any of your programs. Are you anticipating a new building or a structure change to your current building? If so, how would this change impact any or all of your programs? Again, write this up in a couple of sentences. Also, you can focus on other strategies like increasing membership, restructuring orientation, or developing a new scheduling system. You can pause the video if you want to study the suggestion for our Mythical Assistance League of Anywhere USA. Our last subsection, Connections, revolves on what opportunities you have used to make more associations with your community and the media. Type connections and then write 1 or 2 appropriate sentences for your chapter. Here is an example. Again, you can pause the video if you would like to study it. Now that we are done with the capabilities subsection, we move on to indicators. In this next component, indicators, you can simply state what your chapter intends to do for next year. We all have one indicator that we can use, which is the volume of participants served last year. Indicators may seem like an intimidating word to some. In indicators, the funder simply wants to know how will your organization know if they are making progress. Qualitative indicators are seen as subjective, unreliable, and difficult to verify. Quantitative indicators are hard facts and rigid numbers. An example of a qualitative indicator is a survey of recipients' perceptions, while an example of quantitative indicator is the number of recipients served by our programs. Okay, I think this is enough explanation on indicators. We are not in a college course here. Let's focus our attention to a quantitative indicator that all of our chapters have, which is the number of recipients served by our programs. In our Mythical Assistance League of Anywhere USA chapter, we have 3 programs: Operation School Bell, Links to Learning, and Children in Transition. Again, pause the video and you will see that we are simply indicating that our indicators are the number of recipients in each of these programs. We are now at our last subsection, which is what is our progress. Okay, this is where we can brag and is one of our strongest elements. We are making huge progress in serving our population across 120 chapters. The thousands of individuals, especially children we serve, is a quantitative indicator. In our Mythical Assistance League of Anywhere USA chapter, we measure the output of each program. We can measure the progress very easily. We start out by writing, Assistance League of Anywhere USA has 3 philanthropic programs. We measure the output of each program on an annual basis and incorporate the information into our annual report, which is publicized on our website at www.alanywhereusa.org. In the next slide, you will see how it continues. Pause the video if you want to study the example closer. You are almost there. Select the review button, which will allow you to review each component one more time. This is where you look for grammar and typos. Be sure to save if you make a correction. Lastly, you will select Confirm and Submit, where you agree to the GuideStar terms and ask for the changes to be published. Lastly, under the Confirm and Submit button, there is a Program Terms link. When you select it, the following screen comes up. You need to certify your organization information is up to date. There are a couple of options for a donation button if your chapter determines it would like a donate button added to your GuideStar's record. Lastly, you need to attest that you have permission to update the record and that you accept the GuideStar Exchange Terms of Use. Finally, select Publish Changes. Congratulations! When you get to the Thanks for Updating page, you know that you have succeeded in updating your GuideStar's chapter report. Your information will appear on GuideStar within 24 hours. Completing all the required fields earns you a gold level participation badge. Next, go to Find Your Benefits for completing a GuideStar record, Part 4. If you have any questions on this video, please send an email to sandyberry@yahoo.com. Look forward to seeing you on the Part 4 video. Our goal is to have every Assistance League chapter gain GuideStar Gold level participant status during this fiscal year. Let us know if you need help. It is my pleasure to help you.